Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You ready? Huh? Um,
Hey, easy now.
I'm not going to touch it. I was protecting it for you.
Hey, if you know the song, you can sing it with us, all right? Give me another guy. Hope everybody's joining. It's a celebration. Celebrate good times. Come
Outside the Box Choir. Another round of applause. Woo! Thank you for kicking us off. Have a great day. Oh, yeah, have a good day. Thank you so much.
Bye, Curtis. Bye, Mel. Bye. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Love you too.
Have a good day.
You too.
Don't have any audio, Tracy.
The month of March has been designated as Disability Awareness Month to celebrate and recognize people with disabilities by the Governor of the State of Indiana.
Whereas disability is a natural part of the human experience.
And in no way diminishes the right of individuals with disabilities to live independently.
Enjoy self-determination, make choices, contribute to society, and experience full
in the economic, political, social, cultural,
and educational mainstream of American society.
And whereas family members, friends, and members of the community
can play a central role in enhancing the lives of people with disabilities,
especially when the family and community are provided with necessary support services.
And public and private employers are aware of the capabilities of people with disabilities
to be engaged in competitive work in inclusive settings.
Properly include providing individuals with disabilities
the opportunities and support
to make informed choices and decisions,
live in homes and communities where such individuals can exercise their full rights and responsibilities as citizens,
pursue meaningful and productive lives,
contribute to their family, community, state, and nation.
Therefore, I, Scott Faddis, Mayor of the City of Fishers, along with the Honorable City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of March as Disability Awareness Month in the City of Fishers. Furthermore, I encourage the citizens of Fishers to seek counsel and input from any person or group with knowledge and expertise in matters concerning disabilities.
Good morning, welcome. Wow, what an amazing choir that we had outside the box. They're always really fun, and it was awesome to have them here to help us celebrate the start and the kickoff of March Disability Awareness Month. I'm Cecilia Coble, one of the city council members here in our great city of Fishers, and I'm also the co-chair of the Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability. So on behalf of the City of Fishers and the Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability, we want to welcome everybody here to celebrate. And we are definitely fueled for the future, and that's our theme for 2024. We are just super excited of the events that are to come here in the month of March. Personally, as a parent of a daughter with special needs, it's hard not to get choked up when I see the proclamation, because this has been something that's been dear to my heart. And we are so blessed here to have an amazing mayor, city staff, citizens, stakeholders that want to come together and work collaboratively to make a difference in the lives of people with disabilities and all citizens of Fishers. It's full circle this morning because in the audience today we have Margot Vallone. And if you wouldn't mind standing up, Margot. Margot was the winner of our graphic for Fishers Disability Awareness Month. So back in 2016, when we were starting this initiative, we put out a call for graphic artists, and she was the winner of our graphic. And so this is the graphic that we use every year for March Disability Awareness Month. And for her to be here today, after so many years, it's just amazing, and it's really touching to me. So thank you, Margot, for your input and helping us. This month would not be possible without the support and assistance of our city staff. So I want to give a shout out and a thank you to our PR, planning and zoning department, Ross Hillary and his team, Ashley Elrod, Stephanie Perry, Samantha Wiskup, all those people that have been involved in helping to plan this month of March. So if we could give city staff a round of applause, please. I also want to thank the volunteers, the March Planning Committee, for their support and their help in getting this going and planning. Also, I want to thank the Hamilton East Public Library for being such a great partner in our efforts to provide awareness in the month of March. This could not be possible without the support and generosity of our many, many sponsors. Our title sponsor for this month is Old National Bank, the Indy Fuel, Special Needs Magazine, Opportunities for Positive Growth, Outside the Box, Guardian Care, Insights, ViaQuest Community Solutions, Kids Inc., and Connor Prairie. And so if we could give our sponsors a big round of applause. Thank you so much. I now want to introduce my co-chair, Kelly Hartman, who's been a strong advocate in our community to help advance the quality of life of people with disabilities, and she's going to introduce a representative from Old National Bank.
Good morning. That was pretty bad. Let's try again. Ready? Good morning. Happy March 1st. I am super excited to introduce the local leader of an organization that I love and have several accounts. It's my bank, it's the bank of the community, and they are incredibly supportive of this community and the work of folks working really hard to create a sense of belonging for all people. I'd like to introduce Executive Vice President, Chief Impact Officer, and President of the Indianapolis market, Rafael Sanchez. If you could come up and give a few comments. Our title sponsor for March Disability Awareness Month, Old National Bank.
Is this the mic? Okay. Very bougie for Fishers. That must have been in the budget, right, Mayor? Everybody said good morning, so I'll say buenos dias. There you go. Thank you for warming up the crowd, but pleased to be here again. I don't know how many years we've been the title sponsor of this event, but it is really important to us, and so appreciate everyone being here, and certainly Mayor, I appreciate your support, and Kelly and Cecilia for always championing diversity awareness, which is, again, critically important for all of us. I brought a few statistics that I just wanted to share. This is obviously very important and near and dear to Old National's heart. But can you believe that there are 18.5 million people of working age in the United States with a disability? And only 56% of them are employed. Now, when you think about the overall unemployment rate in this country hovering around 3.8%, it stands to reason there's millions of eager, qualified job applicants whose only barrier to employment is a disability. And at Old National, we pride ourselves in welcoming individuals living with a disability. We believe that it makes our workforce stronger and a more successful company. And that's why we have been proud to be recognized as the best place to work for disability inclusion by Disability IN. Thank you. Now, if for those that the issue of disability awareness, and being inclusive about individuals with disability, if that alone is not sufficient and you're looking for business reasons, I always like to point them to these following statistics, which is a study found that disability inclusion champions, right, companies that support disability initiatives, were twice as likely as non-champion companies to have higher shareholder returns in their peer group. Secondly, And I'm sure all of you have heard of ESG, environmental social governance investments and initiatives, and those assets are set to reach $50 trillion by 2025. And it stands to reason that any company that has a well-established approach to being inclusive of individuals with disabilities are more likely to attract such ESG-minded investors. And then finally, we know that the consumer and the customer is paying attention as well. A study recently showed that 84% of respondents reporting having a more favorable impression of companies that are inclusive of individuals with disabilities. And 80% of those same respondents said they would likely do more business with companies that reflect those values. So again, if it doesn't touch and warm your heart, it's about the right thing to do. There are definitely very convincing business reasons why companies should do that. But the shocking statistic is a lot of folks who don't have established programs, a lot of companies that don't have established programs for disability probably and anecdotally always are concerned about what would be the costs associated with making those accommodations, right? It's what they don't know. The U.S. Department of Labor found that 60% of all disability accommodations don't cost an employer anything. And when there is a cost, anybody want to guess how much it averages? Just throw a number out there. Who said that? Stand up for a second. Have you been reading my notes? How did you know it was 500? Can we give her a round of applause because she nailed it? Like it was the first person. It is 500, and 500, for an accommodation is nothing, and definitely no excuse for not taking action. I want to end with this. Old National, in addition to obviously just having that as one of our core values, we launched our Abilities First Impact Network, which is our sort of employee resource group. It's a consistent employee network group that meets regularly. They look for ways to share their knowledge and experiences with others in the company, and it's a very active group. But I'm also super proud of our Achievability program, where we mentor individuals with disabilities that don't work for Old National. We pair them up with an executive, and they go through a one-year program, and oftentimes that one-year program of mentorship results in a permanent job at Old National Bank. So the bottom line is this. The most significant ways any organization can move the needle on performance and create a more engaged and inclusive work environment is through a commitment to disability employment. And we applaud the City of Fishers and all the volunteers and everybody here for their ongoing support and for raising awareness of such an important initiative for our community. So thank you very much, and hope you enjoy the rest of your program.
Thanks again, Raphael, and a big thank you to Old National Bank. I can attest that if you need a banking partner in your life, Old National Bank rocks. I want to provide a little bit of just a concept to think about as we pursue the rest of this program this morning and celebrate the beginning of March Disability Awareness. Awareness is an interesting concept. You could think you know something, but being aware is really very individualized and based on your personal experience. And so I encourage you to think about, what is it that you think about when you hear the word disability? Is it Special Olympics, best buddies, a family member with Parkinson's, a behavioral meltdown that you witnessed at the store, maybe a classroom with your friends at school, your neighbor who uses a wheelchair to get around? And maybe your thoughts of disability are, man, I wish people were more aware of the needs we have every day as a result of disability. Awareness of statistics is staggering. Raphael did a great job talking about it from an employment perspective. But even I'm surprised, and I've been doing this for years, that of all adults in the United States, 27% have some kind of disability. And whether it be a challenge in mobility, cognition, hearing, vision, or other areas of independence, we can surmise that more than 25,000 people in the city of Fishers are experiencing some kind of disability. And even more eye-opening is that nearly 10% of all people have disabilities that impact their ability to self-care or live independently. So nearly 10,000 people need support right here in our community. This month, obviously, we're celebrating the kickoff of March Disability Awareness Month, which is something that's been nationally recognized since 1987 after a presidential proclamation by Ronald Reagan. While nationally, it's more specifically a time of celebrating the inclusion and belonging of people with developmental disabilities, in Fishers, we celebrate all people with disabilities. In a city striving to be smart, vibrant, and entrepreneurial, Fishers is a community that wants to share accessibility and inclusion for all people. Increasing awareness makes this possible. By increasing awareness, Fishers is a better place to live. By increasing awareness, it allows us to see things differently in our community. And by increasing awareness, it helps all people live better lives. This month, we celebrate people with disabilities, both their triumphs and their challenges. As someone who spent nearly 35 years in a career working to empower people with different abilities, I've learned a great deal about awareness and why it's so important. Historically, society shunned people with disabilities, often sending them to institutions. I've worked with many people whose families were told in the 1960s, go drop them off. While we know this was a part of the eugenics movement and our misunderstanding of people who were born with developmental challenges, we do know that still, in 2024, society sometimes experiences misunderstanding, negative stigma, exclusion, and fear. Increasing awareness allows us to change our lens and see what an incredibly valuable part all people in this community are. Some of the most incredible lessons I've learned about being a human being have been taught by those people who might learn differently than me. Some of the people I know with the greatest eye for detail were never even given a chance to get a diploma. Some of the people who are more communicative than anyone else I know don't do so necessarily with words. And some of the greatest belly laughs and brightest smiles exude from friends I know who can't get out of bed without help. I'm eternally grateful that I'm aware of their amazingness amongst us. Thank you for joining us today and to kick off this month of disability awareness as we all seek to make this city a better place to live for all people. Now, speaking of vibrant and entrepreneurial and awesome, let me talk about this guy that's going to come up and share his comments about this month. And I always am happy to stand in front of a group of fellow citizens and stakeholders in this mission. And thank you, Scott Fadness, for really supporting these efforts and being a great leader of this city. Welcome, Scott Fadness. Mayor Scott Fadness, up to you. Mayor!
Well, thank you, Kelly, Cecilia, committee members, volunteers in our community. Raphael, thank you for your steadfast support of this important initiative. I can't help, I think a lot about where we are as a city, and I've often said that we're a little bit in our adolescent stage. We're a teenager. We grew up fast. We're not sure exactly who we're going to be as an adult, and we're trying to figure that out. And I can't tell you how important it is right now as we're going into these years of opportunity, the growth and all the change and the evolution of our city, how important it is to secure our foundation about who we are going to be from a values perspective. And the work that Cecilia and Kelly and the committee and everyone else has done is extraordinary, and it helps create some guideposts as we continue to grow and set some expectations for new residents, new businesses to come into our community to say, we'd love to have you be a part of this community, but understand who we are fundamentally. And case in point, today, it's really exciting for me to have the Indy Fuel here. You know, this chapter of Fishers' life cycle is really pretty extraordinary. We're about to embark on a brand new arena. We have the Indy Fuel, we have the Fishers Freight, we have a new women's volleyball team that we announced this week. We have Andretti Global Headquarters moving to the city of Fishers. We have almost $1 billion of development. There's a lot of things changing because we're in our teenage years, and that's a fun time. But we can't forget those core values of who we are. And so it's great today to see the Indy Fuel stand beside us and say, yes, we want to be a part of your community for all these exciting and great reasons, but we also share some common values. And I can tell you from the Hallett family and from the fuel, that they care deeply about being a part of this community, and not a part of this community for just a certain number of people, but for all people in our community. And so we're excited to have the fuel be a partner here. I was also really encouraged today. Where's the teacher for the 4th grade class that's here today? Could you please stand up? Thank you for bringing your students here today to be a part of this. And all the 4th graders, could you stand up? All right. Awesome. Thank you guys all for being here. You truly are the stars of the show. Let me just say, think about that. As we share our formative years and we start to set the values of our community, to have young people here, to have new companies here that say we all want to be a part of what your committee, Cecilia, Kelly, your tireless efforts have started. I hope that lives well beyond our formative years, and as we establish ourselves and our true identity as a city, which I hope is smart, vibrant, and entrepreneurial. I had a woman tell me the other day, we were talking about that tagline, which I've used it 5 million times, but she goes, "You're missing a component of that." And I said, "Well, what are we missing in that phrase?" And she said, "It should be smart, vibrant, and entrepreneurial for all." And I think the efforts here today certainly demonstrates that. I wish you all a wonderful March. I know we're going to have a tremendous list of activities for people to be engaged, and to Kelly's point, to share just a little bit more in our efforts to raise true awareness. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much for your leadership. I am super excited to introduce our keynote speaker for this month of March. Stacy Oldham is someone that I have known for many, many, many years. She's been very involved within the disability community prior to us becoming a city, when Fishers was a town. And that's when I got to know her. And this lady is a rock star. She has done so much to help our committee, to help our community advance forward, to help us make sure that we have the best quality of life for everybody here in Fishers, and that we have a life without limits. So I want to introduce Stacy Oldham, our keynote speaker. She is going to talk about her disability journey, and she's going to give us some words of wisdom today to take home and think about as we celebrate the month of March. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Stacy Oldham.
I'm so proud of the work of our Disability Awareness Committee and their efforts to ensure that everyone that calls Fishers home can access all the wonderful amenities that we have.
We're going to embrace the community much more. It's going to have a lot more seating options. It's going to have a lot more parking options. Currently where we're at, the benches aren't accessible. This we're going to have accessible benches, so it's going to be accommodating for everyone.
We go to great lengths to make sure that we're providing a facility that can accommodate as many people in as many activities as we possibly can. In the greater Indianapolis area, there's the Twisters, there's the Steel, and also there's a program for the blind, which is enabling all these people in not only being able to go to a hockey game, but to actually participate in the game.
The Fishers Event Center, home to the Indy Fuel, is fueled for the future. Coming November 2024.
Stacy was an integral part in bringing our partner Indy Fuel to help celebrate the month of March. So we were super excited to showcase this video prior to her keynote today.
And I'd like to thank Patrick Gingrich is here for the Indy Fuel as our representative today. He's done a lot of work. We've got more to talk about that, but I want to start with good morning. Do I get a good morning? Okay. Well, imagine being a 20-year-old college student and you've just finished all your finals, And you're now home for the holiday, Christmas and New Year's. And suddenly, it was me, obviously, but I began feeling very much pain in my legs to the point where I couldn't walk up the stairs to my bedroom to go to sleep. Okay, that's good. A typical pain reliever didn't work. Nothing worked. So I took a hot bath. I had a heating pad on my legs, and I went to bed. And when I woke up, the entire right side of my body, it was as if I'd had a stroke. This is the way to start your holiday break, isn't it? Well, I ended up in several tests, one of which being a CT scan, and they found a quarter-sized spot on my brain near my pituitary gland. I was sent to the emergency room of Methodist Hospital on December 31st, New Year's Eve, so I'll never forget, right? Is that better? Is everyone hearing okay? And on New Year's Eve then, when I get to Methodist Hospital, I met with a neurosurgeon with my parents. And he explained that I would undergo a procedure on the 2nd of January to shave my head, put a probe inside, and get a sample of that spot on my brain. Mind you, this was before we had cell phones. And my brother Scott's here in the audience. So by the time we got home, a neurosurgeon had called, and he said, wait a minute. I'm not sure about this. And he explained that I didn't have the typical things that happened to me like a person with a brain tumor. I was holding my head up. My responses had absolutely returned to normal in just a matter of days. That feeling of the right side of my body was no longer there. So when my brother came running to the door to explain this to my parents, he said, you don't have this. The neurosurgeon says you have something called multiple sclerosis. Well, again, you can't just Google something 40 years ago. Think about that. So although I didn't know what multiple sclerosis was, I knew that indeed it had to be better than a brain tumor, right? So I visited a neurologist after that he referred me to, and remember that CT scan? Well, an MRI was brand new technology back then. I was one of the first people in the state of Indiana to ever have an MRI. And what it did was confirm the MS diagnosis. So that neurologist told me that the only treatment for MS, which was an autoimmune disease, was steroids. And that would calm my immune system, which again, I didn't know much about. The most pointed statement he made, however, and I always will remember this, is he said, people with MS don't live past age 50. Well, this statement was made in 1984, and I was just 20. I decided at that point that hard things are put in the way, not to stop us, but to call our courage and strength. So that's what I did. What is this MS? What is this disease? Well, again, I said overactive immune system, right? Things like rheumatoid arthritis, even diabetes is an autoimmune disease. Think of Crohn's disease. Those things are all about an immune system that just won't stop. And for me, an MS, it attacks the coating around the nerve in all parts of the body. And once that damage is done, it's like a cat chewing on a phone cord. That damage is hard to repair, and it causes the disability. So there are many types, again, of autoimmune diseases. Crohn's disease attacks the GI tract. And you think about all of these diseases people are walking around today, you may not even be aware of. So the three classifications are relapsing remitting, which is what I have. You notice I talked about the fact that I had something happen to me, the whole right side of my body go dead, and then all of a sudden it's gone in just a couple of weeks. I'm very, very fortunate because mine does ebb and flow that way. Then there's primary progressive and secondary progressive. And those are times when it's really hard to stop the immune system, drugs aren't working, and people do progress in this disease very rapidly and very slowly. So the good news for me, medications are actually repairing nerve damage. That's how far we've come. You can repair a nerve. In 40 years, I've been at the point where I couldn't even dress myself. I couldn't walk. I have frequent but minor seizures, and they forced me to step down from my job in communications at Lilly. You're now looking at a person who's been in remission for many, many years, up on my feet, I'm standing and walking, and I'm alive today. Remember that guy who said, "You're not going to live till age 50. I'm 59. So I knew that I'm here for a reason. My motto today is, I don't have a bucket list, I have a to-do list for others. And that's why I'm a part of this committee today. So, what have I learned? 40 years, 2024. How about 4 things I've learned? The top 4 insights that I've had from all of these years with a disability. Well, I think we've mentioned it a little bit before, and some of the speakers that stepped up here. You look at this particular blue sign. Well, think about a 20-year-old. 20-year-old doesn't know anything about disability. I see it as that blue sign. I see myself as, oh, I'm going to be that person, because look at that wheelchair. There I am, right? Well, again, we've acknowledged Margot Vallone here as our artist. Look at that picture on the left. Oh, yeah, you see that wheelchair. That stands out. But what are those people behind it? And that's what I love about her design. Who are those people? Well, let me give you an example. Look around and spot the people today with glasses on, okay? I don't want to pick them out for any bad reason, but just look around. Now, I want you to see the people around the room that have contacts in their eyes, right? I do. Those are all accommodations to an astigmatism. So that, could you consider disability? Sure. We have a way to get around that, though. Well, that's what I think about disability. My mother has dementia. I have family members with Crohn's disease, chronic migraine, obesity. There are so many things out there that we don't really classify normally as disability, but that's who I think Margot meant. Those people back there who might have autism, you can't see it on the surface, but it's there. So that blue sign really means a little bit different things to me today. Sure, I park there occasionally, but it's something that impacts our quality of daily living. That's what a disability is. So how is Fishers fueled for the future when it comes? Well, we've now codified the Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability, and that means that all the volunteers will now be serving this community, and I hope 40 years into the future. It's built into our city. It means that awareness, programs, facilities, and support can come for years to come. That's an awesome thing. So what about the other things? I think caregiving was the biggest thing for me, and it still is. I've learned that certain people are not cut out for caregiving. I didn't sign up for this, I heard. I learned that those who are inclined to be caregivers, my mother, my sister, my brother, friends, my kids, that's the people who took care of me. And if you look at this particular slide, 1 in 4 people, we have a crisis right now, 1 in 4 people, and Kelly kind of highlighted this. This is from the CDC. This is adults. What about our kids? We've got a few of them here today. And then I talk to you about things like Crohn's disease and whatever, and you look at these statistics and the things that the CDC is counting. Are they really counting everybody with a disability? But again, that means that our community of about 100,000 people, you can count on at least 25,000. I know there are more that experience a disability every single day. That's a lot of people. And they need caregivers. So, what's meant by caregiving? Let's look at these tasks. If you think about 24/7 care for some people, shopping, food preparation, housekeeping, laundry, transportation, the handling of financial matters, I think, is a big one for a lot of people. The medical scheduling, In my house alone, that takes a lot of hours a week. So all of these things coming together, you have to have someone do them to help these particular individuals. And if you think about it, there's a crisis in caregiving because we're already short, right? Well, the average professional caregiver is going to make $16.50 an hour. It's hardly a living wage. Caring for the most important people, the most critically in need people in our society. And primarily, people who are caring are those who are family members. They're caring for the young, they're called the sandwich generation, and they're caring for young families, and they're caring for a parent. Those are the 49-year-olds that are listed up there. They've got to care for both. That's me. That's me. And I, in the middle, have a disability myself. So what about the parent that requires 24/7 care for a child, a fragile child? It's costly for them to hire the round-the-clock care, so they're staying home with them and caring on their own. Well, up until January of this year, there was a Medicaid waiver that would pay those parents to stay home and care for their children. But that waiver, right now, is being challenged. There's a budget cut. And a lot of those families have to make the tough call of, do we stay home or do we go back to work? Remember, we're talking about care for the 25% plus most fragile members of our society. So how is Fishers Fuel for the Future? Well, I have to acknowledge this gal in the front row over here. She doesn't know I'm going to do this, but Kelly Hartman, because we're connected to state government. Kelly is on the advisory council to the Division of Disability and Rehabilitative Services by appointment of our governor. That's the kind of connection that makes us fueled for the future. And even just this last month, a program was launched. It's in Fishers Fall Prevention Program, launched by the Fishers Health Department. This program, and I should be a frequent flyer, by the way, will help people in their homes with things that they need. What about grab bars? What about a grabber, so you're not reaching down to get something or you're not going up? That is an open door into everybody's home that calls and needs it. I think it's great for those who are elderly. I think it's great for someone like me. But the bigger thing that it does is it opens up all of these possibilities for connections to resources like an elderly person who needs meals, someone who needs medication management. So surrounding our community with things people need and being proactive, I think, is the most brilliant thing ever, and it makes us fueled for the future. So that's caregiving. One of the most difficult times in my life was having to step down from my career at Lilly and begin receiving Social Security disability benefits. I remember hearing comments, and I'm not joking when I say that those who receive disability pay are just faking it. I don't want my tax dollars going to those who are just too lazy to work. I felt like I went from working for a major Fortune 500 company to someone who is seen as an indigent of the community. First, these comments reveal that people don't understand what Social Security disability is all about. I worked a number of years. And SSD, you pay into a program through your paycheck in case, let's say, you have a debilitating car wreck that causes you not to work, or you have MS and causes you not to work. So I paid into an insurance policy, and I'm cashing in on that insurance policy. I can't feel guilty about that. And then there's SSI, so Social Security Disability Income. It is for those, if you think about that child that's born that can never work, how are we going to help them? How are we going to help them? Well, we have $1,550 that we can give that individual. That's the average pay for someone on SSI. And that's hardly a living wage, but then we wrap around services of Medicaid in order to help them. But please understand that those of us with disabilities, we would work. We would, these living wages, it's hard to live on some of this. And that's 21.3% of people who do work. So we are fueled for the future, and they didn't know I was going to recognize them either. Chrissy Pogue and Michelle Stelz. Would you stand up a minute? They're both here. I know that we'd sit right together. Okay, so think about these gals that work every day, opportunities for positive growth and our school system. And they help the high school students transition from school into a job. They've also had things like reverse job fairs. They've really been out there, and because of that, we have an increase in the number of people in our community specifically that are working in Fishers businesses. What's the fourth thing that I've learned? Well, when I was told I wouldn't live till age 50, I've shared with others that they shouldn't let their diagnosis be their prognosis. I have a couple of examples here to reveal that the future of medicine is really something, the recent discoveries. Remember, I started with no treatment except steroids, and again, I will say that I believe there are over 30 treatments available. This interesting slide here talks about a study that was done about the Black Plague. And think about that being 700 years ago in European countries, right? They actually studied the DNA of those who died from the plague because they were in mass graves, and those who actually lived through the plague but died of natural causes. And what they found was a change in the gene, or a difference in the gene, from those who didn't survive to those who did survive. I think about our recent COVID-19, and what would this mean? Well, what they found is people like me of that descent have overactive immune systems. So I was genetically predisposed to this particular ailment that I have. It's something that just we could see, what COVID-19, who didn't survive, who has the long-term COVID, and who didn't ever have it at all. There's something behind that, as you can see. So I think now about another example I'm going to give you. My son and I go to a place in Carmel called the Indiana Polyclinic, and the Polyclinic is all about pharmacogenomics. I can't say that 5 times fast. Pharmacogenomics. What this means, we had a GeneSight study done, and the gene studies have explained a lot of things about our health. We both have chronic health issues again. And what we've learned is even as much as having a piece of blackened fish is a carcinogen and would ignite cancer in our bodies. It is said, why didn't a simple Tylenol work? Because our genetics say that's not something that's going to absorb into our cells. This is medicine. This is medicine that's right here today that we have experienced and we are gaining benefits of right now. Dr. Arbuck of the Polyclinic explained that medicine he is doing today uses pharmacogenetics, stem cells, your own stem cells, mind you, and it's combined with AI. That's the medicine of the future. And I asked him, I said, why isn't everybody doing this? It sounds like it's just a no-brainer. And he says, well, I am. That was his response. So those are the things that we can look forward to. How are we fueled for the future here in Fishers, Indiana, based on this? Okay, in Hamilton County, just right next door, we can go see Dr. Arbuck and all of the people under one roof. There's a neurologist, there are occupational therapists, there's nutritionists, there's counseling. It's all under one roof. And all of our team, we have a team, each of us, talk about us once a week to see what they can do to make things better. But I'll give you one other thing, and I have to give you credit, Mr. Mayor. The Life Science Campus that's coming. Has anybody driven by the huge building that's going up at 126 and Cumberland Road? That particular building is an Italian company coming here. That Life Science Campus is going to have 5 different companies. And we have INCOG, which was a medical company that was created right here in Fishers. So what about 40 years from now? What if discoveries are made right here in our own backyard? I think it's possible. I think it's possible. So we are fueled for the future. Well, given this small vision of my last 40 years, Mayor Fadness recently commented as he talked about the future here. And I use that quote that's down at the bottom. I kind of started at the end, because we can talk about economic development all day long, but this stuck with me. What I'm most excited about now is creating a thriving and dynamic quality of life. That's what the Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability strives to do. So, what's in the future? Well, remember that 20-year-old college student who stands before you today? I haven't let my diagnosis be my prognosis. I've lived as an advocate for those with disabilities because I don't have a bucket list. I have a to-do list for others. That 25% or more of the population is me. And I'd like to leave you with a quote from Christopher Reeve, an actor who played Superman and whose tragic horse riding accident led him to be paralyzed from the waist down. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. I truly believe this committee, the City of Fishers, are fueled for the future with passion, dreams, plans, and next steps. Like Mayor said, we're just teenagers. I know that the future with disabilities will recognize Fishers as a place where they can live their best quality of life. I know that the volunteers and the advocates of disability are the key to making this continue. This momentum will continue. I'm thankful to be a part of this committee. I'm thankful for the people that I met along the way. And I'm thankful to share this opportunity of speaking to you today.
Thank you, Stacy, for your advocacy and that heartfelt keynote today. I hope that you come away learning more about her journey and about the challenges and the hope and the future that's really bright here. I wanted to just acknowledge that we have some of our city council members here. If you could please stand up, Fisher City Council, we really appreciate your support and being here. And we have the state representative, Victoria Garcia Wilburn, here that just came, so we really appreciate all your support that you give for the disability community. One of my favorite aspects of this kickoff is to recognize individuals, organizations, businesses, advocates, and people that are making strong and impactful contributions in our community. And so we give out 3 awards, and I wanted to share with you some of these awards that we give out. The first one that we give out is the Life Without Limits Award. The recipient of the Life Without Limits Award is an individual with physical and/or intellectual disabilities who has demonstrated outstanding contributions to the community of Fishers by promoting inclusion, independence, and eliminating barriers. Contributions of community life include art, culture.
Hi, my name is Shauna, and I've known Stacy Oldham for about 10 years. During that time, she's been involved in many facets of disability awareness and progress in the city of Fishers. Her motivation to get involved and help educate and facilitate change stems from her own personal story. Stacy was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at age 20 and told by doctors that she would most likely not live beyond 50 years old. She was also told that she would not be able to conceive children. Thankfully, Stacy proved them wrong. At age 40, she did conceive a child, and last December, Stacy celebrated her 59th birthday. She is a walking miracle and an inspiration to all who know her. Stacy has served on the Fishers Advisory Committee for many years and has put an enormous amount of time and energy into educating others and working to eliminate both physical and societal barriers that impact those with disabilities. I marvel at her endurance, leadership, tenacity, and commitment, as she is truly passionate about making our city a better place to live for all. Congratulations, Stacy, for winning the Life Without Limits Award.
Please help me and congratulate Stacy Oldham, Life Without Limits Award recipient.
First of all, I have a mother with dementia. She was my rock. Without that Google, without anything, she found answers. She found doctors. I want to dedicate this to her. I also want to thank my 3 children who are here, Matthew and Mallory. Thank you for coming. And my brother, who was the one with that important phone call that came in. So I want to thank you. And Shauna, thank you for your nomination. That means the world to me. Thank you again.
We also want to give a special recognition to Stacy. Like I said, she's been involved in disability and inclusion since we were a town. And she's been a part of the Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability. She is stepping off of that committee for some future endeavors. A lot of wonderful things are happening in her life. One of them is that she's getting married, and we're really excited. So as a thank you for her tireless work in disability inclusion, and on behalf of the city and the committee, we'd like to present you with some flowers and a little token of our appreciation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stacy, thank you so much for everything that you've done. Our next award is the Cornerstone Employer Award. The Cornerstone Employer Award is given to an individual, business, or organization in the Fishers community who has demonstrated an exemplary commitment to providing inclusion, career training, employment, and/or advancement opportunities to persons with disabilities. If you could direct your attention to the screen, we're going to announce the winner of the Cornerstone Employer Award.
This nomination goes out to Lauren Hayes for her work at Heartland Church. As a Cornerstone employer, Lauren has offered career training to multiple students over our 3-year partnership. In my role as a job coach at Hamilton Southeastern Schools, Lauren is exactly who you hope to meet in the community. Her excitement when I told her about our program has been unmatched, and today she still shows her enthusiasm each week when my student and I walk into the church. Lauren gets to know her students, she engages, and she is always grateful and complimentary of our effort. She understands the value of finding a perfect task and does so considering each student's ability. Lauren provides a safe space where we can work independently or alongside some coworkers so to feel a part of the organization. On a larger scale and outside of her efforts to offer career training, Lauren works on behalf of Heartland to host the HSE Best Buddies Prom. Lauren demonstrates a commitment to inclusiveness and continues to shower our kids with opportunities they would have never otherwise received. Lauren, we are thankful for you and for our partnership with Heartland Church. Congratulations on a job well done.
Please help me to recognize Heartland Church and Lauren Hayes. Please come to the stage so we can give you your award, please.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I gladly accept this on behalf of Heartland Church. Pastor Darren's here.
Yay!
It has been such a blessing and such an honor to partner with Diane and her students. I am beyond inspired by her work and just so grateful for the opportunity. So thank you.
Well, we would not even be receiving this award without Lauren. Your work is just unbelievable. Your heart is tremendous. And we see what you do every single day to lead us and to put our church in a space that is so servant-hearted towards those in our community with exceptional needs. So thank you. And I want to thank Cecilia and all the support and the guidance that you've given to us as well all through the years. Thank you for being such a great supporter and a teacher to us as well. So thank you for that. And thank you to all of you in the community. Bless you.
This is what I love about this event and these recognitions, because every year we have more community partners that are coming alongside and helping us to build better opportunities in our community for everybody. Our next award is the Accessibility Award. The Accessibility Award recognizes an individual, business, or organization in the Fishers community that has made exceptional contributions to advocate and or eliminate barriers in aspects of community life to ensure persons with disabilities can access and participate in programs and activities and events. If you could please look at the screen, we're now going to announce the winner of the 2024 Accessibility Award.
Congratulations, Jillian. We are both so proud of you. You are so deserving of this. Jillian has dedicated her personal and professional life to creating opportunities for those with disabilities. Her class here at Thorpe Creek Elementary this year includes multiple students in our school's FAP program, and Jillian has made it her mission to build an inclusive environment for all of these students. She's created a classroom community built on respect, acceptance, and inclusivity. She has shown these students that they are just as capable as their typical peers. Outside of the classroom, Jillian's involvement with the Hamilton Southeastern Swim Club also highlights her dedication to inclusion and accessibility. Jillian created the Adaptive Swim program that allows those with special needs to attend swim lessons in a safe and inclusive environment. As a parent of one of these students, I can personally attest to the love, patience, and genuine desire for them to succeed that she brings each week to her lessons. I'm sure that there are many individuals in our great community that deserve this award, but you would be hard-pressed to find one more deserving than Jillian.
I am one of the special education teachers at Thorpe Creek Elementary. I have 4 students in Mrs. Mack's classroom. I want to emphasize that all the teachers and staff in our school are amazing in their commitment. However, Mrs. Mack goes above and beyond. She coordinates with me several times a day to make sure the students are reaching their full potential. Last year, along with our resource teacher, Mrs. Baker, Mrs. Mack co-chaired our Best Buddies program, which is a social club that pairs students with disabilities with their non-disabled peers to build friendships. That 2022-2023 program won an award for its success. Furthermore, Mrs. Mack has very intentionally included disability awareness and inclusivity into her general education curriculum, which further fosters community building. My students' families love Mrs. Mack with good reason. So we are overjoyed that she has won this award.
Congratulations, Jillian.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Jillian Mack. Please come up to the stage.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a thank you to my family for continuing to support me, and to Mrs. Allen and Mrs. Rago for bringing my entire class here. Complete surprise this morning. So thank you for that, and this is an incredible honor to be able to accept this and continue to support those without limits. So thank you.
So as you can see, we are so fueled for the future, and we are so thankful for our partnership with the Indy Fuel. Before we leave today, I just want to share a little bit about the events that are coming up for the month of March. One of the highlights is the Indy Fuel game on March 22nd, Friday, at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum at 7 p.m. It's March Disability Awareness Night. If you go to the Fishers website at fishersin.gov/disability awareness, you will be able to purchase tickets there. We really encourage you to come. It's going to be a great night, and we're really excited for the Indy Fuel to be coming here to Fishers and to be partnering with them as we move forward. And we are super excited, and we want to thank the Indy Fuel for their continued support. Fishers Parks and Recreation Department, they're doing a story walk the whole month of March. It's Just Ask. It's a book written by Justice Sonia Sotomayor. She was diagnosed as a child with diabetes, and she writes about how to accept all abilities and how to really care and understand what children are going through when they have disabilities. So it's kind of a walk and read the book on your own, but it's a great way to teach your children and learn more about famous people and leaders in our community that face disabilities every day. I'm really excited. We've partnered with the Fishers Arts Council the second Friday of March, March 8th, from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Hamilton County Community Foundation Hub and Gallery. We are featuring the artwork of many talented artists that are showcasing their artwork. So we're really excited. It's open to the public. Please come. There'll be refreshments. We're really excited. One of our great community partners is the One Zone Chamber. And I really encourage you, if you are an organization, a business, and want to learn more about disability inclusion in the workplace, they have a panel discussion at their March luncheon. It's going to be held here at the Forum Event Center on March 13th. That's a Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Again, if you go to the Fishers website or the One Zone website, you can sign up to attend that event. Our committee has been working hard to provide more opportunities for employment for people with disabilities, and one of those is helping them to prepare for interviews. We are doing a preparation event at Grace Church. We're very thankful for the partnership with Grace Church. That is Friday, March 15th from 9 to 11 a.m. And we encourage anyone that would like to participate to sign up and register to be a part of that event. And we couldn't do this without the support of the Hamilton East Public Library. Please go to their website. They have a number of workshops, seminars, and information related to disability. So I really encourage you to look at their website. And then one of the most important events we have every March is the March Transition Fair. This year it is at Fishers at Hamilton Southeastern High School, Wednesday, March 27th from 6 to 7:30. And that is a way where people can get information, resources. We have probably over 100 vendors and organizations represented to help provide resources, guidance, and information for people with disabilities. In conclusion, we're fueled for the future. Since 2016, March Disability Awareness Month in Fishers has championed inclusion, collaboration, and acceptance for all people who live in our smart, vibrant, and entrepreneurial community. This effort has had a positive impact on more than just people with disabilities in our city. It has become an achievement for which our other communities strive, and this year we're fueled for the future as we use the month to include partners from other cities in and around Hamilton County. As our leadership in disability inclusion has expanded beyond Fishers, we know we are fueled for the future. And we have fueled everybody with a t-shirt, and we encourage everybody to be an ally, to learn more. We've put together toolkits with best practices. Again, you can go online, and we will have yard signs for disability inclusion and the ally shirts over at City Services in front of the old City Hall building, the construction building there. So we encourage you to pick those up. They're going to be available for the community. We encourage you to get involved. Please reach out.